Hey friends, I'm Vik Harrison and welcome to this episode of The Branded Startup. I am so stinking excited about today's topic. So today we're going to talk about how you can create your very own visual brand identity for your new company. Because look, if you have just started your business, you can't afford to pay $25,000 or more to a branding agency or a high-end design firm to create your brand and your visuals. You also can't really hire your cousin Vinny, who just graduated from design school last month and is really into cats flying through space right now. Look, I would be the very first person to tell you that design is crucial to the success of any company. But investing thousands of dollars right now at the stage you're probably at with your small business, it would be like you know those moms who buy all Gucci, Prada, and Louis Vuitton onesies for their 1-month-old, and then the baby just grows out of it in like 3 months. Investing a lot of money in design right now at the stage you're at is going to be kind of like that, because your company is just going to grow and change so dramatically in the first year or two that that kind of investment is just probably going to be highly wasted and unnecessary. So you can do this yourself. Is it going to be the most groundbreaking design work that anyone's ever seen? No, because you're not a designer. Is it going to do the job just fine? Abso-freaking-lutely. So the first step to this process is to take a minute and really define your brand's foundation. This is the step that's most notoriously skipped by like everyone. Even experienced designers sometimes skip this step and go straight to picking colors and designing a logo. But I really believe that your brand's foundation, your why and why you exist and what you hope to bring to the table that is different, defining those core beliefs, that's going to anchor all of your visuals going forward. So your brand's core foundation is really built on these 5 essential things. What is your mission? What is your vision? What are your values? Then what is your unique selling proposition, and what is your audience profile? Who is your ideal client? So I actually made a video already about the mission and vision of your company, and I'll link to it right up here or here. Somewhere up here. Now let's talk a little bit about your unique selling point. For your unique selling point, just draw 2 circles and imagine in one circle, here's everyone who is in your industry and what they're doing. So for example, if you are starting a t-shirt company and there's 25 other companies doing t-shirts just like you, you're gonna take that middle ground and you're gonna say, okay, so in my business, here are all the things we do that are the same as our competition. Maybe we use the same t-shirt supplier, or we ship t-shirts the same way, or we have the same price point, but there should be a couple of things that you have, that you plan to do differently than everybody else. Write those down and that's gonna become your unique selling point. Now, finally, really try and think about your audience profile. Who is your audience? What do they like to do on the weekends? Where do they shop for their clothes? And what kind of a car they drive? Do they live in a house or an apartment, etc.? Try and flesh out your perfect audience, your perfect client as much as possible, because it will help you down the road in picking things like colors and fonts. All right, now it's time to move on to the fun stuff. So the next step you're gonna take is to gather inspiration for your visual identity. My favorite way to do this is to create a secret Pinterest board and just start painting anything that visually really speaks to you and seems like something that would be a good fit for your brand. So you can pin things like packaging design, you can pin interior design, but don't be afraid to pin, bouquets of flowers or landscapes of the outdoors. Anything that really feels like, this would really fit with the kind of brand that I want to build. Okay, so now let's move on to curation. So now that you have gathered a whole bunch of things that inspire you, let's start whittling them down. The first and most easy one to start with is usually color. So if you find the colors that are constantly coming up for you throughout your inspiration board, those should be your brand's core colors. I would recommend no more than 3 colors to start with. For example, for my brand identity, I chose the forest green and the pink. And I also chose a highlight color, which is coral, a specific shade of coral that I will use sparingly to sort of add a little pop of color here and there. Go ahead and find what those colors are for you, and let's start putting together your brand board. A brand board is a really simple 1 to 2 page document that is really meant to showcase all of your brand's core elements in one consolidated place. If you're interested, I've put together a template brand board that you can download and just fill in yourself. And you can grab that at the link for this video at thebrandedstartup.com/brandboard. So the second thing you'll want to put on your brand board are obviously your core fonts. There's 2 categories of fonts in the world. There is a serif and a sans serif font. A serif is that little thing, that little knobbin, little doodad. What is it called? A serif is a stroke at the end of your letters. I just looked this up in the dictionary. It's a stroke at the end of your letters that was originally created so that your eye can sort of pull all the letters together and read more quickly. And a serif font is usually considered more formal or more ornamental. And a sans serif font is, like the name suggests, doesn't have the serifs. It's sans serif without those serifs. I'm gonna keep it really simple for us right now. We're just gonna pick 2 core fonts. Pick a sans serif font and combine it with a serif font. And that way you'll have a lot of room to sort of play, and they'll balance each other out very nicely. So in the link for this video at thebrandedstartup.com/brandboard, I've also created a little cheat sheet for you guys of 10 font combinations that go really well together that you can just grab and use for your brand. And they're all free fonts. I'd made sure to pull only fonts that are free and that you don't have to pay a lot of money for. So go ahead and go to thebrandedstartup.com/brandboard, where you can grab your brand board template and you can grab the list of those font combinations. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we? Let's talk about the logo. So yes, your logo is absolutely essential to your brand and it should go on your brand board. But logos are just this stress-inducing topic for most founders, I find. Here's what I want to say to you about logos. First of all, I already made a video talking about how you should think about your logo and some of the sort of really practical elements that you should consider when you're designing your logo. But for now, let me give you 2 really simple ways that you, even being a non-designer, can design your own logo in a couple of hours. So the first way is you can doodle and do a hand-drawn logo. You can sort of take pen to paper and try out different things and write out your logo, and then you can scan it into Photoshop and refine it a little bit more. In fact, I did a video about how to do this, which I'll link as well up here, and you can check out that tutorial about how to take your handwriting and scan it in and create a visual element out of it. Another way you can do it is by taking the fonts that we just talked about, your brand's core fonts, and you can arrange them in interesting ways, like this or like this, and you can keep your logo really simple just by using some nice fonts. Okay, so it looks like you may be well on your way to having your very own visual brand identity. So go ahead and continue to fill out that brand board with any type of textures or patterns that you feel are gonna really be iconic to your brand. Go ahead and think about your photography style. That's another really important aspect of your brand. What kinds of photos are going to be representative of your brand online, on your Instagram feed, etc. Go ahead and put your inspiration images. Pull some of the most inspiring images from that inspiration phase that we talked about. Put those in your brand board as well, just to sort of remind yourself how this all got started. All right, guys, that's it. That's how you build a really basic and simple core visual identity for your company. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already so that you are sure not to miss any of my content going forward. I'll see you soon. All right, guys. That is how you build a really simple starter core, too many words, you know? Thing, that little knobbin, little doodad. What is it called? I don't even know what it's called. A serif is a